So this is a wonderful creamy sausage casserole which can be eaten on a low carb diet. We're going to start by getting our sausages, 6 sausages, and we're going to just rub some oil in the bottom of a fry pan, and then we're going to place the sausages onto the oil, and we're just going to leave that to cook on medium while we cut up the onion and celery. So I'm going to get my onion. We only need half an onion. Onions can be quite high in carbs, so half an onion is more than enough to put into this meal. Then we're going to get our celery, which is a good alternative for that onion flavour. And then we're just going to slice that up into very small cubes also, like this. Now our sausages are in the background there, cooking away on a medium heat. We're then going to get our cubed vegetables. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of oil to that pan and just push it underneath the sausages, and then we're going to add the celery and the onion to the pan. I'm just going to turn those sausages over. As you can see, they've browned on the back while they were sitting in that pan, and we're just going to let them sit in that oil. I've now turned it up to a high heat, and we're going to cook the onion and celery through, and also we're going to allow those sausages to brown off on the backs. It takes a couple of minutes, and once we've done that, just give it a little stir around. You can see that heat, you can see how hot that is, and you can also see that the onions are starting to get a little bit translucent now, and that's what we want. Okay, so when the backs have browned off, you turn it. We're then going to get a pair of scissors, and we're just going to slice up those sausages all along like this until you get these lovely little bite-sized pieces. Once you've cut it up, we're then just going to give it a stir around in that oil for a couple of minutes until the sausages have cooked through. Then I'm just going to leave them onto a medium heat while I cut up half a carrot. Now you cut this very thin, and then you cut it into cubes like we did with the onion and the celery. And then this is basically just going to stir fry, and it only takes a couple of minutes for that to soften through, but it's still got a nice bit of a bite to it. So I'm going to add that to the pan. Once again, just going to give it a stir through with some tongs like this, and we're just going to let them soften up on high for a couple of minutes. Then we're going to add our garlic to the pan. We're just going to stir that through with a spoon. Let all that heat, and you can smell the aroma of the garlic infusing into those other ingredients. After we've stirred it through, we're then going to add our mayonnaise. You see how that's bubbling, how the garlic is cooked through. I'm going to add our mayonnaise to the pan. This is on a high heat now, and we're going to just stir that through quickly until it melts down into the pan like this. Next we're going to add our tomato sauce. Now you can get a low carb version sauce if you want to use a low carb version sauce. If not, just make sure you add those carbs into your calculations, because tomato sauce can be quite high in carbs. You could put tomato paste in there as an alternative, which would be a bit lower, but this just gives it a nice little tang. So once we've done that, we're then going to add our cream. So half a cup of cream, just going to pour that straight in over the top. As you can see, it's bubbling away, so it's not going to take long when you start to stir this through for it to thicken up and create that beautiful creamy casserole. Just stir it through. It's only going to take a couple of minutes for the heat to get into that cream. As you can see, it's starting to bubble already. Just continue to turn it like this, and that will just turn into a beautiful creamy sauce. You'll be able to see it start to bubble shortly. It's still on a high heat. It's a very quick and easy meal to put together this, and it's good for low carb. This would do 2 meals if you're on a low carb, or you could split it even further if you want those carbs to be reduced even further. So just continue to stir it. You can see now that it's really starting to thicken up, and that is basically it. Once it starts to thicken and it's gone into that really thick creamy sauce, you just turn it down onto a simmer heat while you prepare your mashed potato or your cauliflower mash. So I'm doing a mashed potato version for my husband. Now that's just packet mash that I've made up at the packet. I do put a lot of butter and cream in it. Added the sausages on the top. Look at that. Just going to put some garnish over the top. Oregano goes well with these sausages. And that's one version. Now the low carb version, obviously the meat is low carb. We're going to use a cauliflower mash that I made earlier, and I'm just going to put my portion on the top like that. Look at that, absolutely beautiful, nothing wrong with that. So that's the normal mashed potato version and the low carb version. I hope you give one of them a go.